Before we begin, do one small thing. Stop scrolling. Take your hand off the screen. Don't skip ahead. Don't reach for the next tab. Just for a moment, be here. Because something quietly improbable has already happened. And I don't want you to walk past it. Think about the odds. There are millions of videos, millions of voices, billions of hours of noise competing for the exact seconds you are spending right now. And out of all of it, on this particular day, in the particular mood you woke up in, this title is the one that stopped you. You didn't keep going. You clicked. You can call that chance. Most people would. But it's worth noticing that the mind reaches for the word coincidence the moment it meets a pattern it can't yet explain. Carl Jung had a better word for it. Synchronicity. A meaningful coincidence. An outer event that lands with uncanny precision on an inner state you are already carrying. Here is a claim this whole chapter rests on, and I'll spend the rest of it earning your belief rather than asking for it. Nothing enters your attention by accident. Not this, not the people you keep meeting, not the situations that seem to find you again and again wearing different faces. You did not stumble onto this. On some level, you were already asking the question it answers. Maybe not in words, but you've been transmitting something. A restlessness, a search, a quiet refusal to keep living the way you've been living. And what you're about to hear is simply the answer arriving in a form you could finally hear. So this isn't background noise for your commute. Treat it as an appointment you made with yourself. And fair warning, once you understand that nothing in your life is truly random, you lose the comfort of being a victim of it. That loss is the beginning of everything. Let's talk about the law underneath all of it. Chapter 1. The Law of Resonance. If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Let's start with what your rational mind is already whispering. It was in my recommendations. A friend sent it. I just clicked. Relax. I'll meet that objection head on because it deserves a real answer, not a spiritual dodge. In the old mechanical picture of the world, billiard balls knocking into billiard balls, coincidence makes perfect sense. Things collide by accident. But that's not the world modern physics actually describes. And it's not the world you live in. At the level where reality is built, particles behave less like solid objects and more like relationships, tendencies, patterns waiting to be resolved. And in that world, random is a much smaller category than we like to pretend. So start here. You are not the solid thing you appear to be. Put your hand under a strong enough microscope and the skin dissolves into cells, the cells into molecules, the molecules into atoms. And the atom, when you finally look inside it, is almost entirely empty space. Nearly all of you is nothing but a field of energy, holding a pattern, vibrating at a speed you can't perceive. You are not a rock. You are a standing wave that has learned to hold a shape long enough to answer to your name. Now, waves do something specific. And this is the whole key. Put two pianos in the same room. Strike a single note on the first one, say a C. Then walk to the second piano, untouched, and rest your hand on its strings. One string will be trembling, the C, not the D beside it, not the E, only the string that shares the exact frequency of the note you played. The sound crossed the room, passed through every other string, and moved only the one that recognized it. Physicists call this sympathetic resonance. The layman's version is simpler. Like answers to like. You are that second piano. You are standing in a room flooded with waves. People, offers, ideas, warnings, invitations, accidents. Most of them pass straight through you and you never feel them. But the ones tuned to the note you happen to be playing, those move you. Those find you. Those cross the room and stick. That is why this reached you. Lately, you've been sounding a particular note. Maybe it's the note of, I can't keep living like this. Maybe it's the note of a hunger you can't quite name. Whatever the exact pitch, you struck a key, and something in your reality answered on the same frequency. Here's the most useful way I know to picture it. Imagine you are a radio. Tune to one frequency and you get old rock. You cannot hear a symphony on that station, no matter how long you wait, because the symphony is playing somewhere else on the dial. And here's the part people miss. Both are in the air right now. Every station is broadcasting at once, passing invisibly through the room you're sitting in. What you actually hear depends on one thing only: where the needle is set. Your inner life has a dial too. And if it's parked on the frequency of the victim, fear, complaint, scarcity, why does this always happen to me? Then that's the only signal you can pick up. You'll turn on the news and find proof. You'll walk out the door and meet the rude stranger. The unexpected bill will arrive right on cue. And you'll say, see, I knew it. The world is against me. But the world isn't against you. The world is enormous. It contains horror and it contains beauty. It contains real poverty and it contains obscene, casual abundance. All of it happening in the same instant. You aren't seeing the world. You're decoding one station out of thousands. The opportunity that could have changed your year may have brushed right past your shoulder. You didn't reject it. You never received it. You were tuned somewhere else, and to that possibility, you were simply invisible. Move the needle and the broadcast changes. Not the world, the reception. Suddenly there are open doors where you'd have sworn there were walls. And the skeptic will say, of course, you're just more optimistic now. Fine, call it optimism. I'm telling you, it goes deeper than mood. You've become compatible with a version of reality that was always there and always close to you. The very fact that this held your attention tells you the dial has already moved. On a lower frequency, this title would have looked boring, or naive, or simply wouldn't have registered. You'd have scrolled past it, hunting for something lighter. But you stopped. Something in it rang a string in you. That means you're ready. Readiness isn't a feeling. It's a frequency you've climbed to. Now, The honest part. The part that makes people angry. You'll want to argue. Wait, I didn't attract the accident. I didn't ask for the partner who hurt me. I wanted to be safe. I wanted to be loved. Are you blaming me? No. I'm handing you power. And power always arrives disguised as blame at first. But to take it, you have to understand where creation actually happens. You do not attract what you tell yourself in the daylight. That's maybe 5% of you. The affirmations, the vision board, the conscious wish. You attract what you transmit underneath. In the 95%, you rarely inspect. You can repeat, I am worthy, I am abundant, all morning. But if there's a knot in your gut that has quietly believed, I am not enough, since you were 7 years old, then that knot is your real broadcast. Reality doesn't respond to your vocabulary. It responds to your vibration. If somewhere deep you carry the signal, I will be left, you will meet, again and again, people who leave. Not because anything is punishing you, because a pattern that stays unconscious keeps arranging the world to show you itself. The painful relationship wasn't a random misfortune. It was almost surgical in its accuracy. It fit your oldest wound exactly, because part of you was still transmitting the wound, and life, faithfully, sent back the match. Sit with how much that hurts, and then hear the gift buried inside it. If you were the unconscious author of the pattern, you can become the conscious author of a different one. If the power to quietly wreck things lived in you, then so does the power to rebuild them. No one is doing your life to you, which means no one else has to change first. And if all of that still sounds too mystical, biology will meet you halfway. At the base of your brain sits a filter, the reticular activating system. Your senses take in millions of pieces of information every second, far more than any mind could survive processing. So this filter stands at the door like a bouncer and lets almost nothing through. It admits maybe a sliver of what's actually there. And the rule it uses to decide? Whatever you've told it matters. Whatever you focus on. You know the experience even if you've never named it. You decide you want a certain car, a specific model, a specific color. You'd barely noticed it before. Now it's on every street, in every lot, 3 of them at the next light. The world didn't manufacture those cars overnight. They were always there. You were blind to them because the doorman hadn't been told they were important. The moment you tuned to that frequency, your brain started showing you what it had been hiding in plain sight. Now apply that to everything that matters. The opening you need, the person you're meant to work with, the way out of the situation you feel trapped in. There's a real chance it's already inside your field of vision, and you cannot see it, because the doorman has been running an old instruction that says, life is hard, don't bother looking. This video slipped past that filter. That's not nothing. It means the guard lowered its skepticism just enough to let something new walk in. One warning before we go further, because it catches almost everyone. When you raise your frequency, when you start thinking clearly, asking sharper questions, refusing the old comfortable misery, your old life will begin to come apart. Expect it. Don't panic when it comes. Picture yourself as a puzzle piece cut to fit one specific hole. Change your shape and you no longer fit. Conversations that used to feel like home start to bore you or grate on you. The job that once felt safe starts to feel like a room with the door locked. People you love and people you tolerate begin to feel very far away. This is the friction of two different frequencies trying to occupy the same space. And it is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a sign that you're moving. People get frightened here. I'm losing my friends. I'm losing who I was. Understand what's actually happening. You're not losing. You're shedding. Old clothes feel tight because you've grown. And the answer to tight clothes was never to shrink yourself back down to fit them. If this reached you inside a season of restlessness or loss, or that strange hollow feeling that you no longer belong to your own life, good. That discomfort is the receipt for your growth. Almost everyone lives their whole life as an effect. The weather ruined my mood. My boss made me angry. The economy made me small. Leaves blown wherever the wind decides. This is the turn the whole series is built to help you make. To stop living as the effect of your circumstances and start living as their cause. I set my frequency and the world reorganizes to match it. That shift doesn't finish overnight, but it begins the instant you accept, without flinching, that you are the one who is here. You struck the key. You made the call. There is no distant hand assigning you this life. There is only a mind that has been broadcasting on autopilot and can be taken off it. Which brings us to the strangest law of all. Because once you accept that you're transmitting, you have to ask what reality is actually doing with the signal. And the answer is that it's not a world out there at all. It's a mirror. Chapter 2. The Quantum Reflection. Life is a mirror, and it returns to the one looking exactly the face they bring to it. Let me tell you an absurd little story, and then show you that you've been living inside it. You wake up, walk to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and there's a dark smudge across your face. You don't like it, so you grab a cloth and start scrubbing. The mirror. You scrub the glass, you shout at the glass, you press harder until your knuckles ache. Hours go by. You look again. The smudge is exactly where it was. Of course it is. The mark was never on the mirror. It was on your face. You can threaten a reflection, beg it, polish it until it cracks, and it will not change one detail until you change the thing it's reflecting. It sounds ridiculous. Nobody would do that. And yet it is, almost exactly, what most people do with their lives every single day. They try to fix their finances, the reflection, by working more hours while carrying the same scarcity underneath. They try to fix a relationship, the reflection, by winning the argument, while their own fear stays untouched. They attack the image in the glass and wonder why the smudge won't move. Welcome to the second law. The idea I most want to take from you today is the belief that there is a world out there, fixed and separate from you, that you're merely reacting to. Look closely enough, and that hard line between you and reality goes blurry. What you call your life behaves less like a stage you were placed on, and more like a mirror wrapped all the way around you. One that returns, with almost cruel accuracy, the image of what you most deeply believe. Go to a cinema for a second. You sit down, you look at the screen, a monster appears and your pulse jumps. The hero dies and your eyes sting. But if you stay lucid for even a moment, you remember, the screen is blank. It has no monster in it, no story, no color of its own. It's a neutral white surface. Everything you're reacting to is pouring out of a small machine behind your head, throwing light through a strip of film onto nothing. Your life runs on the same architecture. The screen is the material world. Your bank balance, your body, your address, the events of your day. It's neutral. It's raw surface, waiting to be told what to show. The projector is your consciousness, where your attention rests, what your heart is set on, what you believe when no one's watching. And the film, the reel spinning in the dark, is your inner pattern. The story you quietly hold to be true about yourself and about what's possible for someone like you. If the screen keeps showing scarcity, the problem was never the screen. It's that a reel labeled "there's never enough" is turning inside the projector. And while it turns, you can change cities, change jobs, change everything on the surface. And the same film will play, frame for frame, wherever you go. You've seen this in other people, even if you've resisted seeing it in yourself. The person who changes partners over and over and lives the same heartbreak each time. They're all the same, they insist. No. The people are different. The projector is the same. It quietly recruits each new person to play the role the old story requires. So most of us spend our lives shouting at the screen. The master does something else. He leaves the screen alone. He turns around, walks back to the projection booth, and changes the reel. And the image out in the world, with a little patience, changes on its own. There's an experiment in physics that unsettled everyone who understood it. When you watch how the smallest units of reality behave, they seem to make up their minds differently depending on whether they're being observed at all. Watched, they act one way. Unwatched, another. The act of looking appears to help decide what the thing becomes. I'm not going to overclaim the physics, but sit with the shape of it, because you live inside that shape every hour. Before you name a situation, it is genuinely neutral. It's raw data. It isn't good or bad. You haven't decided yet. Watch what deciding does. It starts to rain. A farmer in the middle of a long drought looks up at that rain and reads, "Relief, harvest, we're saved." And his afternoon fills with something close to joy. A bride whose whole ceremony was set to happen outdoors looks up at the same rain and reads, "Ruin," and her afternoon collapses. Same sky, same water, same neutral event. And the mirror hands each of them a completely different reality, built entirely from the meaning they brought to it. You do this to your own life constantly, so fast you don't notice the move. You lose a job, a neutral fact, the ending of an arrangement. Then you label it, "I'm a failure," and the mirror obediently returns despair. Or you label it, "I'm free now," and the same event returns a door. The mirror has no opinion of its own. It only ever says yes. Tell it the world is dangerous, and it says, "Yes, it is. Here's the proof." Tell it the world is generous, and it says, "Yes." Here's a stranger who helped you. It is a perfectly faithful servant that has never once contradicted you, which means the labels you hand it, moment by moment, are quietly writing the world it hands back. Now, the objection that makes most people quit, and the answer they never get. Fine, I understand. I'll change the reel. Starting today, I'll believe in abundance. Then Wednesday comes. You check your account, still red, and you decide the whole thing was a lie. It wasn't. You just met the one law nobody warns you about. This is a dense world, and matter is heavy, and the mirror of solid reality runs on a delay. Turn the wheel of an enormous ship, and the ship does not turn with your hand. The weight of all that water holds the old direction for a while, and only then does the bow begin to come around. Or look up at a star tonight. The light reaching your eye may have left it 1,000 years ago. The star itself might have died centuries back. But you still see it shining, because its old light is still in transit. Your life today is that old light. The money in your account, the shape of your body, the state of your relationships right now. Much of it is the arriving echo of what you were thinking and feeling and transmitting 6 months, a year, 10 years ago. You are looking at a dead star. So when you change the projector today, the screen does not flip in the same instant. There is a gap, a stretch of time where the new belief is real inside you, but the old reality hasn't finished dissolving. That gap is where nearly everyone dies. They start on Monday, full of resolve. By Wednesday, nothing outside has moved, so they conclude it doesn't work and go back to their old signal. And in doing so, they grab the wheel and yank it back just as the ship had begun, invisibly, to turn. The mirror was starting to catch up. They stopped it a breath before it could. So this is the discipline the whole thing comes down to, and it is not glamorous. Learn to hold the new image steady while the old reflection is still on the glass. Keep transmitting the frequency you've chosen, even while the world is still showing you the last one. The delay is not the mirror refusing you. The delay is the mirror on its way. Let me leave you with the honest version, because this channel doesn't trade in easy promises. None of this is a trick for getting things by wishing. It's something slower and more demanding than that. It's a discipline of noticing what you've been transmitting, of catching the labels the instant you slap them onto a neutral world, of holding a chosen frequency through the long, unglamorous gap before reality catches up. It asks more of you than positive thinking ever did. It asks you to stop scrubbing the mirror and go change your face. But understand what's actually on offer here. If you are the one broadcasting the signal, then you were never the leaf. You were always, quietly, the wind. You just forgot you were the one blowing. That's where we'll pick it up next. Because knowing you're the cause is one thing. Learning to hold a frequency on purpose, in a life built to knock you off it, is another. That's book 3. If any of this rang a string in you, if you felt the small internal yes while you listened, then the resonance is real, and the appointment was kept. Subscribe and stay with the series as we keep taking the mind apart to see how it's built. And if this helped you see the world or yourself a little more clearly than you did an hour ago, pass it to the one person you thought of while you are listening. You know the one. They're already tuned to it.